As promised, the TUTA President joins me, Lum Kin. He's on the Zoom line, and I knew it was going to be, well, I told myself, I'm sure by Wednesday I'm going to talk to Mr. Lum Kin to really get some details, get the TUTA perspective on this new school year, the opening, as it were, and, well, what he would have seen yesterday. He's actually on the front page, positioned here outside Moncton Secondary with some of the PTA members. Mr. Lum Kin, good morning and welcome yet again.
Good morning, Mr. Williams. Good morning to your viewers. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Always an honor to be with you. Hoping that I could have been live next time.
Don't worry, Mama. I'm sure we'll get a chance to get that live link up. Let me ask you, as we set the record straight, what's the position? I'm seeing via The Guardian that Tobago, things went well. You know, at least there was a strong turnout. So what's the reports coming out of Tobago with your colleague there, Braden Roberts, and what's the turnout like for Trinidad? How many schools still remain closed? Just give me the latest update as of this morning, late last night into this morning.
So we can report both in Trinidad and Tobago that the members of the teaching service, our education professionals, did attend and report for duty, the majority of them. As you spoke about Tobago, yes, Tobago would have had a reopening just like Trinidad. However, we got reports that there were schools being repaired up to 1:30, 2 o'clock Monday morning. Some of our administrators, principals were at the school up to that time.
As in what, 1:32 a.m.?
A.m. Monday morning. So I want persons to get a sense of how the repairs were rushed coming down to the end of the vacation period into the new school term.
Is it a is it a financing issue? Is it a contractual issue? What I mean, that's something like how we operate for Christmas. You know, cleaning minutes before Christmas breakfast. You had not put up curtain 2 o'clock in the morning. How could this happen in 2024? What's the issue really?
We understand it is a financial issue. It is in terms of funding. But we have put on record, TUTA has said that education is so important. It is such an important aspect in Trinidad and Tobago that we should not allow finances to stymie the operations of our schools and the education system. We have put on record that we believe the government will get support. The government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago will get the support should they draw down from the Heritage and Stabilization Fund to actually bring most, if not all of our schools up to code, up to a minimum standard and beyond a minimum standard. Because we at TUTA, we get no joy when schools do not reopen or have to be closed due to health and safety issues. And as such, any time lost, teaching, learning, is time that has to be accounted for, but also bridge that certain gap. And we see no joy in that. We would like to have no students out of school, no teachers out of school.
Let me ask, President Lum Kin.
Yeah.
Let me ask really fast. I want to take it back to Tobago with that last minute, down to the wire, 2 a.m., men still doing repairs. Is it because of that teachers had to do a deep clean come yesterday morning, Monday morning when they went to school? Because because I'm seeing here via The Guardian, page 5, the headline says, some Tobago teachers forced to clean classes for opening day. Why teachers now turn in cleaners? What's happening there?
Well, because of the last minute repairs.
So
and the fact that...
Wow, so the teachers now have to come and clean up after the repairs that was done hours before?
Yeah, some of them were asked over the weekend. Some of them forcefully asked. The administration would say that they would ask, but we all know the semantics of the whole thing. And the teachers could not come in good conscience and see the state of the school and have the students within that type of environment. Our teachers are such that they are sympathetic, display empathy, and they will not allow their students to enter an environment. So they turned cleaner because the contractors did not do what they're supposed to do at the end of the time that they spent. Now, no, we are not saying that it was completed, but ended at that point in time. And yes, we could imagine that they will be tired, but there should have been some level of cleaning, sanitizing, so that the occupants can be there. So when the division and the Ministry of Education speaks about reopening of schools, that physical reopening, they are not saying to the nation that there are instances where teaching and learning will not take place. There will be instances where the schools will have to be closed. So you're bringing them out as a supposedly ceremonial aspect, and just to say that all schools, and I saw the release where it was in bold, all schools reopen. This is a feather in their cap. They are playing with the lives and utilizing a public relations gimmick, but they are not saying to the nation what is really happening within the schools. Our members, the practitioners, are the ones who have to face it when they come out on the first day of school.
You know, before we head across to the development at Mount Hope, because I'm seeing you went personally down there to be part of that protest yesterday and to really lend your voice to what's happening at that school. I want to ask you a comment on a statement made yesterday by Shadow Education Minister Anita Haynes-Allen, Member of Parliament for Tabaquite. She saw a correlation via her assessment of the decline with the results via CSEC and other exams, with some of the conditions of the school. There is, as far as she's concerned, a direct cause and response, a correlation between the accommodation, the actual physical makeup of the school. She says that, more or less, I'm paraphrasing, once it's a bit uncomfortable, there is not that motivation by, I guess, administration and students. The conditions are not conducive for learning, so we're seeing a kind of decline in the results. What's your take on that particular observation?
We totally agree with that observation, although there are other factors which will influence the results and how students learn. But the environment is a major factor that can impact positively or negatively on the students and the teachers as well too. So you're speaking about motivation, you're speaking about the whole level of comfort that teaching and learning can take place. And if it is not satisfied, then you will have challenges. Some of our educators have been able to get around it. But a classic example would have been recent and continuing the hot days that we are having. And research has shown that children learn at optimal temperature levels, which is around, for the tropics, around 26, 27 degrees. But when you have classrooms that are going beyond 30 degrees Celsius, then you will have challenges in terms of their concentration, but also having to give them more breaks in order to rehydrate and to have that, level of, and that sense of comfort.
Understood. I'm watching the front page. Again, as mentioned, you're here. You went down, you saw it firsthand. How bad is it there at Mount Hope Secondary?
It is, to us, critical. It is at a stage where it is a disaster waiting to happen.
In what way? I want you to elaborate.
In terms of infrastructure. So let me also say on the onset that the principal and administration have been making the requisite representation, documents, reports, and they have been doing this over a number of years. The reports have been such that it is at emergency stage, but when it reaches the higher officers of the Ministry of Education, it is shut down. They are told that they are not at critical stage and that there are other schools who are higher on the list. That brings no comfort to our members or the students and parents. However, the OSH agency recently visited the school approximately 2 weeks ago and served prohibition notices on the industrial arts block. the IA block, the entire block, because there are exposed wires, electrical wires, and there's leaking or water penetration within the block. So that poses a great health and safety concern. Then you have classrooms that have poor lighting and ventilation. You have some prefab buildings that do not have air conditioning units functioning properly. And that's another issue throughout Trinidad and Tobago, which if we have time, we could get into.
Well, I guess we'll have to, because we kind of, I guess you could probably wrap it up, because what happened, there's so much going on this morning, but I'm know for sure, if not by the end of this week, next week, we'll get a chance to touch base again. I'm watching Palmyra Hindu rat infestation.
Yes, and we are particularly concerned about that school, because we are being told, it is reported to us, that the school was dismissed, the students were dismissed, but the teachers had to remain. The students would not be reporting this morning, but the teachers have to report. Is it that the administration is saying that teachers are insulated, or we will not get the diseases spread by the rats, like leptospirosis? And we've had that in a number of schools. But there are quite a bit of other schools our officers visited yesterday and will be visiting today.
Yeah.
I have a long list.
Well, you know what to do? I want you, when you go through some more of your due diligence today, if we could probably book a little time later this week or early next week to give us an update. And I want to thank you as always for coming on.
I may come in studio.
Yes, yes. I look forward to that, Mr. Lum Kin. All the best.
Yes, thank you for having us. Thank you.
For sure. And in that regard, let's take it to the break with, again, images and the sentiment of yesterday's first day. Another chance to celebrate the youngsters. Let's get that going, because after the break, we come back with our new weatherman, our new weather anchor. We're going to touch base with John Mark, but let's take you to the break with, again, some of what we captured yesterday via first day. Enjoy.